Is everyone okay? How are we doing? Sheesh. Wow. Hi, I'm David. This is my first time seeing that episode, so was it everyone else's first? Nobody watched it. Nobody pre-gamed the episode. How amazing. Let's get to it. I would first like to call out Georgia Hunter, author, I would like to call out Kail, director and executive producer. Lipez, showrunner, writer, executive producer. Logan Lerman. And Kail, who plays her name. Hi. Yo, what? It's so beautiful. I have had such a wonderful experience watching the series. I saved this. This was my first. Getting to see it in community with all of you is so incredible. Congratulations. Congratulations. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. I feel so full right now. I am.
Popcorn?
I didn't eat any, which is a crazy thing.
It's not really like a popcorn.
I started crying in the first scene tonight, and I didn't stop until just now. So, and for so many different reasons. The first question I would like to actually ask to Georgia. This is your family story. It's been through a number of iterations. You worked so closely together in bringing this to the screen. The storytelling is so beautiful, and it is so, it allows us in so many different ways. How did you do it, and what was the process like of getting it from something so personal to you to something to be able to share? Having it shared in the form of a book is one thing, and then getting it to be consumed in this way is another thing, and that process is oftentimes fraught and oftentimes really, really difficult. And I'm sure this was no easy task. What was the process like?
Wow, yeah, that's a big question. I take very little credit for that process. That was a hugely collaborative process, and it began with this guy giving me a call in about 2018, maybe a year after the book came out, and asking if I'd like to partner up to try to bring this story to the screen. And yes, it's a very, very deeply personal story. And I think of all episodes, this one is. With those pictures at the end. I'm having a hard time speaking now, as you can tell. This is an emotional one for me. So when Tommy called, Tommy and I have a long history of friendship, and so to be able to work with someone on this project who I trust and I adore, and who I knew would take it into his heart in the way that I took it into mine, felt like a dream come true. And he said, I want to introduce you to my friend Erica. Just see how you guys go. See what you think of each other. And I fell in love with Erica the moment I met her. And she's
Genta?
Tommy's really good at bringing people together whose orbits are meant to collide. And I don't know, I just will say, every person that stepped into this world and into this orbit has, I feel, taken it into their hearts in the same way that I have. And as the granddaughter and the storyteller back in 2008, when I set off to unearth and record it, my mission was to try to do the story justice and to tell it as truthfully and as authentically as I could, to preserve it for my kids and their kids and so on. And And I think that was exactly everyone's mission on set. And after, and being part of that process, and feeling that energy and that commitment to doing the story justice, and to the authenticity. I mean, it was really hard taking such a big story and adapting it. This is my first foray into the world of television making, so I've learned so much, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of it every step of the way, from pitch to writer's room to set to post-production. So I think these guys can speak much more to how we managed to do that, how we managed to take this novel and translate it to the screen. But I just want to say thank you to all of you, and to the hundreds of others that have put their
It's stunning. And so the game of telephone passes like that. And then Tommy and Erica, now this is, it sounds like Tommy's fault. So this is like now you're tasked with this. Now this is your mantle to bear. And what was the writer's room process like? What was that sort of creative phase pre-shooting like? And how did you manage to keep that kind of honor and spirit in the process?
So Georgia and I met in 1999. She ended up marrying one of my very dear friends, Robert, who's here tonight. So I met Robert in 1992, when I was 4. No. I was 15, everybody. I just love it. And so, I think I felt a deep sense of responsibility, on the sort of the most sort of foundational level, because these were people that had loved and supported me as I was trying to figure out who I was. And I think that as Georgia talked about the endeavor that she was about to embark on, and then sort of seeing them elliptically through that time, I felt when I had a chance to read the book that, like most things that actually break through all the noise, when you tell a story with integrity that has specificity, it has an opportunity to transcend. And so in Georgia telling her family story, it became either a portal or a mirror for my own story and my family, however much it might have rhymed with this or not. And so I think the idea of trying to transpose this and let it live in a different way so it could be a companion, but the novel would always be the novel. And so how could we, in this relay race, try to pass that on? Eric and I had the good fortune of doing a play together in 2012, 2013. And she had been dominating Los Angeles before and after that, and we'd really been trying to find something to do together. And I think on a very simple level, what I find in my dotage is that what I really want to, thank you, what I really want to do is find people I want to be with. And often the who is first and the what is right afterwards. And so Eric and I had been seeking that, and so I sent her the book without telling her too much about it, just having a strong suspicion that this could maybe be something. And I knew that Erica certainly had the skill and the heart, and I was also at a place in her life where her being in the center of a room felt right. And so I just was really excited to try to find something that we could do together in that way.
I mean, I think what it's beautifully said, Tommy. I mean, this was, I think everybody said a version of this, but this has been like such a truly collaborative experience. I mean, I think this is a show about a family, and it may sound cliche, but I think we really set about to create sort of a family environment around making this. I think we knew it would be a very big undertaking. I mean, when I read Georgia's book, I sort of was like, oh no, this defies everything that you're supposed to do in television. It takes place over 9 years, 4 continents. It's a huge ensemble. I wasn't sure anyone would make it. Thank you, Hulu. But I think once we sort of were set out to do it, I mean, Georgia's book was just the most incredible guide. I mean, everything was there, and then we just got to bring it to life on a screen and find this incredible cast. And Tommy's right, we sort of looked across the board for tremendous talent, yes, but amazing humans off screen, and that was sort of what we did. Casting with all of our department heads, our amazing writers room. Some of our writers are here. Hi, writers. I feel like people sometimes think when they're making really hard things that the experience has to be hard, but we really tried to surround this show with a lot of joy, and there was a lot of joy in the making.
It comes through on the screen, and the cast is phenomenal across the board.
Agreed.
The cast is unreal. So, you know, being an actor, like, getting a job is, like, the process of getting jobs is often shitty. And then sometimes you get one, and sometimes it's something like this, and sometimes you get to embark on a journey like this. And the same thing for you now that the weight of all of this is passed on to you, and it's real, and it's honest, and it's true, and you guys still have to do your jobs and hopefully love your lives while doing it. And you did such beautiful work. How did you deal with the weight of history sitting on it, and the reality of it, and being so directly linked to the actual family of the characters you were portraying?
I'll kick it off. First of all, I mean, this is so cool to be part of American Cinematheque screening.
He's a member, everybody.
I am a member. It is the greatest thing that's happened to LA film culture, and for you guys to have this show, be a part of it is a real big deal for me. In terms of you're talking about your question, what makes it a little bit easier is loving the scripts and the material. And when you're working on a television show or limited series, it's kind of different for me, having mostly done movies like you. It's kind of a leap of faith. You read one script and hope the others are as good as that first one, and each one was so beautifully written that in terms of the responsibility of the story, George's book and the story, you just hope the writing matches that, the scripts match that, and they did, and that was a big weight, like almost off my shoulders, just to be like, okay, there's no problem solving. It's just trying to connect with the feeling of the scenes that you have as an actor, and then giving the time. We had a lot of time to work together and rehearse and get to know each other and find a middle ground for dialect, which was a big part of the show, and it was incredible to see the research packet of material that the writers had that was handed to us actors. It was 300 pages of letters and pictures, and
That would stress me the fuck out.
that made it easier for me in a way, just because it was like, there was a lot to connect with, and oftentimes with projects, they're fiction, and you're having to fill in the blanks and bring yourself to it or create a backstory. It's like, okay, everything was there, and as long as you gave your time to it, you can connect deeper with your scene or your character, and that was really a really interesting experience for me. But yeah, there was a weight and responsibility, and every day on set, George was there, and George's family would come, various family members, and that was another thing that kind of anchored me, or maybe some of the other actors as well. Everybody, just to see them, and you'd be like, okay, we want to make this as good as possible, to respect their story, and to watch them walk into the sets that were recreations of their family's experience. It brought the feeling naturally to the day, and I didn't really have to search for it so much as it was, just giving myself to the scene on any given day. If you want to add to that, I'm going to shut up.
It's tough to talk to you guys after just watching that. Honestly,
I've been dreading a question because I'm having a really hard time keeping it together.
I got you. Me too.
I can't look at anybody. I can't even look at the room because I'm starting to cry.
Yeah, same girl, same. Your character in particular, like the journey, the sort of growth that you go on is really striking to me because it is set up. There's so many goddamn smart choices in this thing, like from all of you guys, but it's set up in this way. You are introduced as an ingenue. You know what I'm saying? Like we are supposed to know how this is going to unfold from like those opening shots, and it's always surprising. And yes, she does grow up and become more worldly and different and grown and older and changed, but it's always surprising. It's never the way we expect, and it's so much more honest than every version of this I've ever seen. And the way this episode started, you know, having to watch you go through that is so heartbreaking, and just in performing it, how did you prepare yourself for stuff like that, and how did you keep the totality of the journey in your head? I don't know how much in and out of order you got to shoot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some of the just the for all of you guys on screen, the work of keeping the beats of the story together in something that spans such a long time, and where people change so much and go through so much. I mean, the work is so impressive. What were some of the moments of it that stood out for you, or that were interesting for you, or hard for you, or fun for you?
You know, I think that there's when you're given the opportunity to not just play a role like this, but play a role like this with just the best creative team that you could possibly have. There's so much joy even in the hard moments, because at the end of the day, I was able to go to work every day and do something I loved, knowing it was going to be with the best people that could be there to help make it happen. And there was a lot of, but with that, of course, there's like a lot of moments that are really tough. You know, this episode was really tough to shoot. You know, like you said, things shoot out of order, and you know, a lot of the ending of this episode was shot prior to the beginning. But you know, in filming the first chunk of this episode, that opening 10 minutes is, yeah, I mean that was like it's a lot. It's really tough to watch, and you know, it's important because those kinds of scenes are very technical. You know, there's stunt work involved, and there's, you know, very long makeup involved. So it's not like you're waking up, you're going to work, you're putting on that braid, and you're making it last the whole time. You have to like find those moments where you can really sink into the moment, because there's a lot of noise going on around. But like I said before, like when you have such a loving, wonderful team, and Tommy as a director to help guide you through that, it's, you know, those moments of that noise, and it's easier to find those connected moments to get where you need to be when you're being cared for in that way. Yeah, this show, man, it's a real heavy show, and watching it watching this episode in particular, you know, we've gotten to see the first episode a couple times with some audiences, and that's really, really special. But seeing the finale with people, it's really amazing. And I think that part of the reason it's so emotional, and you know, it's like I think that, like, I don't know if we're gonna get to do this again. Like, I don't think that we're gonna do this again. Like, this is the finale. This is the day the finale came out, and I feel like. It almost feels like this might be the last panel we're all on together, and like, this is really special.
Well,
You know, you'd also cry in the talkback. Joey King just serving.
Tommy, I often find I leave things that you have directed, and I say, like, the cast was perfect. You cast perfect people. That is a common.
Some of our other cast is here tonight, so give it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're all so damn beautiful, and so, but also that, you know, the more I start to learn about the way yes, you do cast the exact right people, and then also you manage to create an environment in which people can become family, right, when they need to, and this is so much about family, and it just oozes off of the screen. I like that you guys, it reads perfectly, and is there a secret sauce for you in terms of creating atmospheres like that? They're not all like that, yours are, but not mine.
The one we did together was
It was all right.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, both with this group here and my friends that made this, and David and I have known each other for a long time and gotten to make some stuff. And I feel like the secret sauce is not that secret, which is care about each other as much as possible. And that ineffable thing that happens when everybody who's stepping on stage, whether it's a sound stage or a stage for theater, or if you're on location, everybody is implicitly understanding one simple thing, which is somebody there's got you. And if you know that, then things are possible. But I think if you can approach it in that way, and if you can do all the stuff you need to do, so then when you kind of walk into the ring, ultimately what these actors have with all the things swirling around them is the eyes of the person across from them, the words on the page, the clothes on their back, all that other, everything else just disappears. And so we don't have a chance to build a cathedral if there aren't the architectural plans. So when you have Erica putting the words in that order, then you have a chance. When you have the right people up there, then you have a chance. And I think that there's something that I think is important for somebody that has the opportunity to try to bring a group together, which is to look a little harder than you think you might need to look. Trust your intuition in your partner's intuitions as you're going through, and then also know when to get out of the way. Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. Sometimes the best thing to say is let's keep going. And I feel like with this group, from the very beginning, this thing shot over 122 days, 100 days in Bucharest and 22 days in Spain. But it felt like 123. You know what I mean? Just like Spain clapping over there. Just like, please welcome Malaga. The notion of going far away from a place, everybody who was there was far away. Everybody decided to leave the place where they were from to go and give what they had. And again, when George is up there with you, and by the way, Georgia and Robert and their boys, quick cameo in this when Logan's running. Anyone? You recognize it? George's mom, also in it. Google it and find it. So anyway, for me, as I will do now, it's sometimes about trying to set it up and then be able to walk away.
Tommy's so modest.
I'm just trying to be like Logan Lerman, y'all.
He knows how to place you in a feeling, like in a way that's so it's perfect. It's so gentle. It places you right into the feeling of the take that he's trying to get from you. It's brilliant. He's the most wonderful director.
It makes you think it was your idea, kind of, more often than not, which what a jerk. It is not an easy show, but it is also so joyous. And I think the spirit of survival and the way you guys ended it with the continuation of your family, and so many of the lines are just so striking and stick with you. And the one for me from today was I don't think any of us were supposed to be here. Well, what do we do with that? And then one of the things that we can do with it is do this, and then do this, and then do that, right? And so, just thank you all for sharing this incredible thing with us. I am better for having seen it. I think we all are, and I hope that I'm going to run and tell everybody else to go see it so that we can continue to do more of this. Thank you.
Thank you.